want to take a moment to honor our veterans. Today is Veterans Day. After the pledge, I'd just like to maybe have a few moments of silence to honor them and their families and everything that they've sacrificed for our country. So just join me in a moment of silence after the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, let's do roll call. Myers? Here. Rushmore? Here. Imhoff? Here. Burnwell? Here. Clark Hubbard is here. First item is to approve the agenda. Everybody should have a copy of that. Are there any questions or changes on the agenda? Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there support? Support. Motion's been made and supported to approve the agenda. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is approving the minutes. Now we have our regular meeting minutes from October 14th and also the special meeting from October 31st. Everybody should have copies of both of those. Were there any questions or comments on the minutes? Is there a motion to approve both sets of minutes?
I make a motion to approve both sets of minutes.
Is there support? Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Treasurer's report. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one, sorry. Public comment on agenda items only. So 3 minutes just on agenda items. Anybody have any comments they'd like to make? We'll do our normal public comment at the end. That'll be open to any topic. So nothing on agenda, then we'll go ahead and close that public comment and now move into the treasurer's report with Dutch.
Okay. So the Township General Fund, beginning balance $381,852, income of $32,259, expenses $156,671 with an ending balance of $257,440. Fire district, beginning and ending balance of $7,616. Honeymoon Height lights, beginning and ending balance of $11,659. CDs, we now have 3 CDs. The original 2 CDs we have been carrying for a couple of years is beginning balance of $57,808 and ending balance $57,808. The second is $57,813, beginning and ending. Then we did take the $50,000 of the county ARPA money and put that into a CD at a credit union, into a 9-month CD. They had the best rate between there and Mercantile, and it was the term that we wanted. Mercantile rate was comparable, but they only had a 6-month rate. We were looking for something a little longer, so we took $50,000 from the general fund and put it into a CD at the credit union. So now we have 3 CDs there. Those first 2 CDs will mature 11/21 this year, and I don't know what the new rates are yet. They were Black Friday specials, and I called Friday, didn't have any updates on what the new rates were going to be. I would suggest that I have the CD rates there for the Black Friday specials, which are usually pretty good rates. Leave them there at the credit union, and just let the money, the general checking at the Mercantile, like we have been doing, continue on. Unless for some reason Mercantile comes up with a better rate, then maybe switch the CD rates and bring that checking account to the credit union, just for some diversification, keeping some money both places. But I anticipate probably the credit union will have the better CD rates and just renew those. So that's just looking forward. The tax account at the credit union, beginning balance of $71,771. We did have income of $15,229 and expensed out $81,637. Leaves us a balance of $5,363. We do have some so our tax is still dwindling in, so.
Okay, yeah, I guess your recommendation, suggestion on, if the credit union has the better CD rates, it makes sense to roll those CDs, and then, again, for diversification purposes, leave the checking. And I think that's probably administratively, probably a little easier to
Correct.
leave that as is.
Right.
And even look at their money market option too.
Right,
at-
they do have a money market
Okay,
option,
no.
so we can take some of that money just, instead of just sitting in that account, put it in the money market and still have access to it,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, I mean, everybody kind of feel like that's,
We shouldn't have to do a motion for that, right, Randy?
no, I don't think so. I think we'll see what
Yeah.
the rates are.
Yeah.
Any other questions for, Dutch on the treasurer's report? Is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Make a motion to approve the treasury report.
Is there a second on that?
I second that.
Motion's been made and supported to approve the treasurer's report. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. And then winter tax bills, you guys met with, our consultant who helped us get the UN, deputy treasurer-elect, Jamie Boehm.
Yes.
You guys met with our consultant, helped get that all set up to where we can meet our deadline to get it down to the printers.
Correct, I sent everything for verification and final proof, looked over to Joanne in the county today, of course, they weren't open today, so usually they're back pretty quick from her, so we should be all set to get them printed and everything, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
In the treasurer's department area also, Dutch had forwarded me a request regarding the rental of the hall. The human resource developer slash recruitment team leader for the military advisory committee of the Carson City Correctional Facility. They would like us to waive the fee for them to rent the building January 16th from 10 to 2 for a Department of Corrections job fair. So we probably need to come up with a policy on who we're gonna waive the fee for going forward. I hate to like kind of slippery slope for everybody thinks, we could get into a situation. But we're given free fees left and right. But if it's, I guess in this case, I'd be willing to, it's a governmental group, it seems to be
That's
kind
what
of
I thought too. Police, fire, government, bodies, maybe add something to.
yeah, we need to craft a policy, but I think I'd be okay with waiving it for this,
Yeah,
but we do
I
need
would
to,
too.
I think we need to get it, I guess, in writing, so we know, and we're not getting all sorts of requests, and, so,
Okay.
everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let him know.
And then the other thing is, this is pretty routine, but, end of the calendar year, usually in November, we get a, request or an agreement from Lakeview Community Schools that we will collect their summer school property taxes, the following summer in, 2025. And we have to estimate how many, parcels that we think will have a tax bill, and we, are able to charge them $2.50 a parcel to collect their taxes for them. So, I worked with, Dutch and Andy Ross, our assessor, to come up with an estimate of 2,385 parcels at $2.50 a parcel. Came up with math of $5,962.50. We need to get this to them, before the end of the year, so I wanted to get it on November's agenda. I guess we need probably I guess I'd make a motion that we, sign this agreement for collection of summer school property taxes, with Lakeview Community Schools, 2,385 estimated parcels at $2.50 a parcel. Is there support for that?
Support.
Okay, motion's been made and supported. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. So I think clerk and supervisor need to sign this, so I'll get with you, Ginger, and we'll get that over to them. this update at the last meeting, but, the credit union has gotten excess share coverage for us, for, anything over the 250,000 that the NCUA provides, so just FYI, they have, gotten that, and I'll see if maybe they could give us a letter that, dear Cato Township, blah, 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 so, just wanted to mention that. And this is Dutch's last meeting as a board member. She, stepped up and saved the day, back in May. And
Thank you
we
so much.
are so
Well,
grateful.
I went through it, it's, yeah, it was worked good, and everyone here has been really helpful, and, yeah, so, thanks for having me, and I'll be happy to turn it over to Jamie. I think she's gonna be fine, she's been working with me as my deputy, through the summer tax collection, she catches on really quick. She was a little, struck there Friday when we were doing the taxes, because that's the worst part of the whole job, is the tax roll setup, so.
Yeah.
And she, I said she's gonna be fine, she'll be great, so.
I think she'll do great too,
Yeah.
and you'll be there. The plan is you're gonna flip-flop back to being a deputy,
Correct.
which you've been for many years.
Yes,
And
yeah, so
so,
it should all go smooth.
all right, well, we cannot thank you enough for what you did for the township, and, you've done an awesome job.
Well, it was a thing to do, and I was happy to do it, so, thanks.
Okay, so we will move into the clerk's report now. Everybody should have, November bills listing. Real quick item of note, so we did get our furnace fixed. As you notice, we don't have oscillating heater, battery operated heaters, or electric heaters. It was only, $460. There was a part needed for one of the furnaces, and the other one had just something very quick that they were able to fix, so, we do have the furnace fixed, and, any other questions on the bills listing? Our total is $20,451.77. Is there a motion to approve, that amount for payment?
I make a motion to approve the bills as presented.
Is there support for that?
I support.
Motion's been made and supported. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Burnwald,
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes. Imhoff,
Yes.
Rushmore,
Yes.
Myers,
Yes.
motion passes. One thing Ginger's investigating, we won't get too far deep into it, but possibly switching our internet provider and maybe lumping in the phones with that to save us some money and hopefully get a little bit better service. What are you thinking, Charter was
Probably.
who you were, or Spectrum Charter?
Yes.
I think that they have the best for businesses.
And we have our own phones, so we don't have to buy phones, and we can keep our own numbers and all that, and have one bill, and we're paying quite a bit right now for phone.
So we'll hopefully have something more at a future meeting on that. And then Ginger and I also met on Friday with our insurance agent, Sherry with Baron Hendricks out of Holland. She's working on our renewal quote, so we'll hopefully have something on that next meeting. And then you should all have, I wanted to give you an update, budget-wise on where we're at with the tree work out to the cemetery. So she should have a little summary sheet that says trees at the top. So, Imhoff's Forestry, we're out last week for several days, to get their, quote work done. We had a total of 8 trees, 6 removals and 2 trims. When I went out to meet them that morning, before they got there, with all that wind that we had a massive downed half of a whole maple tree. And it was not one of the ones that was on the list to be serviced. So you'll see on the, we lucked out, it did fall into where some headstones were, but it kind of seems like it straddled them with the branches. So we didn't have, does not appear we had any stone damage. But the cost for them, they ended up just taking the whole thing out because it just, it would have come down anyway. So that would, I told him go ahead and do it, $500. And then he has not did the grinding of the stump yet. He said, I told him hold off on that. That would be another $450, and it's it's right as you're making a curve, and it's on the interior, and that was kind of what our sexton said. If it's on the interior, he'd like it ground down for mowing purposes. If it's on the outside perimeter, we don't, stump can stay. So, estimate of $450 to grind the stump. He did end up, one of the trees that was supposed to be just a trim, he did end up saying it needed to go after he started cutting on it. It was pretty rotten. So he, going up a couple lines, one additional removal, and the stump grind. He said he'd just do that for $150. And, our sexton did ask if there was a particular very large pine that had some branches hanging at the top. He wanted to know if we could get that trimmed, and that was an additional $200. So all in all, the additions, would be about $1,300. So I kind of summarized where we're at on the budget. So we had $6,200 in, that account there, cemetery maintenance and supplies. To date, we've spent about $620. That was for Missy to do the digital records and cemetery certificates, I think, or something. And then the original tree contract, that only after taking that off, we only had about $929 left to spend. Take off $1,300, we're at a shortfall, and there's still a chance, in the spring, there will be, Brian might need to get sand or dirt, or maybe have the village chipper if there's branches that come down over the winter. So I was proposing what I'm proposing is we take another $1,200 out of contingency, our contingency line item, and move that into this category for cemetery. That would leave us about $820 left for the rest of the year, in case Brian has other things. Plus, there's another $500 budgeted for equipment repair, something with a well, so I feel like that should be enough. Anybody have any thoughts on that? Okay, I would go ahead and make a motion that we approve this additional work, from Imhoff's, total of $1,300, and make a budget line item adjustment, take $1,200 out of contingency and put it into the cemetery, cost center. Is there support for that?
Support it.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call. Burnwald?
Yes.
Clark Hubbard, yes. Imhoff?
Yes.
Rushmore?
Yes.
Myers?
Yes.
Motion passes.
I have one question on the cemetery agreement.
Sure.
In years past, I remember Todd always saying the septic, or the Porta John would cancel. Did that happen? Cause usually it's November,
Oh,
you know what I mean? I remember cause they're not gonna be using that and they winterize it, so.
have we gotten a bill from them, from Richards? Guess it's a good question.
It should be monthly. I just thought of it as we're doing this. I remember Todd saying before we
I don't
cancel it.
We didn't get a
I don't
bill
think we
this
got it. They might automatically cancel it, but I'll make a
Okay.
note. Thank you for bringing that up. Yep. Okay, and then, in the clerk's report also, just wanted to, huge thank you, shout out to Ginger and Dutch and everyone, Miranda, everyone on the, all the election workers. I'll let you, I guess, give a quick little, the turnout was really good and.
Turnout was fantastic, very, very busy, but no major issues, went pretty smooth, and we balanced at the end of the night, which is the most important thing, and got our results over to, Stanton in a timely manner, and it was all good. Everybody did their part, and it was really, really good.
You guys did fantastic and
Yeah, it was
great service to the community. Thank you for all the hard work, and you did say that because so many people did do early voting, that, the county is saying expect a little bit bigger of cost sharing.
Yes.
Cost sharing
Yes.
bill, all the counties, or all the
Yep.
townships split the cost for them to have workers for that early
It'll
voting.
probably be double, cause they doubled the amount of workers, and they had to get twice as many machines, they get, another full book, well, maybe not double, but.
But we have a pretty good cushion in our election budget, so I'm not worried about that, but, just wanted to make note of it. And then as far as, all of us, we all have to retake the oath of office, and have our little certificates. and the earliest that that can be done is noon on November the 20th. So, get that done, and then, we're all good to go for the other 4 years, and will prorate, Jamie would take, start on the 20th, if she comes in that day, and then we'll prorate the pay, between her and Dutch, so that.
So we're making a day and time to get together to have that done?
I think you can just come in,
Just
work
come
with
in?
Ginger,
I did read today that you can take the oath, but you can take the oath ahead of time, but you are not,
To start the position?
can't start the position, but you can take the oath ahead of time.
So I'll get with Ginger and she will give you the oath. And I guess somebody's gotta give you the oath, I guess. Either Kristen at the county or else
You
you.
know, you can, right, yeah.
Okay. And then there's also some upcoming training opportunities that I just wanted to let everybody know. New officials training, I mean, that's coming up here. There's a lot of different, locations in December and January. I plan on attending one of these, and I think everybody should seriously consider it. I think it's, just a good refresher, and, I just think it's good
They
practice.
just come in the mail?
I've had this came in the mail a few weeks ago, but it's all online and, yeah, so there's
Okay.
definitely, please consider it. There's a thing especially for the Treasurer's Guide to Tax Collection, a full day, seminar, so maybe if you wanted to pass that along, I can share this with you after the meeting, so.
Okay, great.
Moving on to zoning administration, so Dave was not able to be here, he had to be in a different township tonight, but he did provide his list. I'm not gonna read through it, if anybody has any questions, let me know. But otherwise, I'm gonna move on, from Dave's report. Marcy, did you have anything with land divisions?
Yes, I approved one, land division on Tamarack and Saturday. So that was all completed. I got that to Andy, so he has that already. I'm working on, I think, 2 more, but nothing's come together on it yet.
Thank you, and now we'll move to David with the planning commission update.
This coming Wednesday, the 13th is our next meeting. We're gonna have the public hearing on Lakefront Residential.
And I do have some follow-up on that as far as there was a question about how does the map of the zoning district get updated, and I did talk to Leslie, our attorney, on that. This is kind of phase 1, is getting your text amendment rules on the books. And then, once that's established, phase 2 is a rezoning or determining the boundaries of the zoning district. So, that will be a separate public hearing, and you guys will have to work, I don't know if you work with Danielle on that, or, we have 3 different lakes in this township, so there's gonna have to be some discussion on that. And she said that, I said, well, this is kind of the same process, you have the public hearing, and it's just not like a rezoning. Usually you have to notify all the neighbors within 300 feet. She said she would have to check how many contiguous parcels in the district, because there's a, I guess a carve out in the law where you don't have to do all those mailings out to everyone in the area if it's, so many contiguous parcels, that you would just do it one big public hearing. So we'll hopefully, you guys kind of get through writing your rules and then get that process on the books and then start figuring out what these boundaries would look like. And as far as the Honeymoon Heights, they have a separate residential suburban district right now with some specific regulations as far as setbacks and stuff. She said if you guys decided that Honeymoon Heights would be part of the Lake Residential District, which I would think it would be, then that would, that section that's in there now would be superseded. So you wanna make sure that if there's some reason why they had to carve something out for Honeymoon Heights, that we take that into consideration. So you might wanna bring that up on Wednesday, take a look at that. It's only 1 page in the ordinance, what their restrictions are. We still have the open position, coming up here on the planning commission, so Phil Morrow is not renewing his, term at the end of December, so we've got that posted on the website, a job or application, and it's just a list of basic duties and responsibilities. And we'll also be looking for a recording secretary, someone to basically just take the minutes at the meetings. So hopefully, I think I had put a end of November sometime in their due date, but no applications to date. So if you know of anybody who's interested, please tell them to fill out the application and contact me. Couple other things of note. Zoning Board of Appeals has a hearing scheduled for November 26th at 6 o'clock p.m. Had someone apply for a variance regarding property line setbacks. That is posted on window website, and it was in the newspaper, I believe, last week. There's gonna be an upcoming training session at Montcalm Community College for planning and zoning, sponsored by Michigan Association of Planning. The cost would be split among the townships attending. They gave them 3 possible dates to pick, and we're waiting to hear back what date they picked. One of them was December 12th. I don't know if that would happen January 9th or January 11th, so I'll pass that along to you guys once I have it. And the only other thing in the planning and zoning area I wanted to talk about is accessory building height. So we kind of talked about this at the last meeting, that there's been some, we'll say, loose enforcement on this, it appears. And you're going to be bringing that up to the Planning Commission on Wednesday to consider, to see if they would consider taking up potential zoning amendment to increase the height, because we seem to be on the low end and have gotten variance requests. And similar to what happened with the barn dominiums, where we found that the enforcement was a little lax, our attorney had said that we could, if the Planning Commission has a consensus that they're going to change it or allow, in that case a barn dominium, that we could as a board decide to tell the zoning administrator, in that case, not to enforce those specific rules on the barn dominiums. What I'm gonna propose, because it seems like we are on the low side on accessory buildings. We raised it from 14 to 18 feet, and within a few months there was variance requests. If you look at some of the other townships around us, I think they're higher as well. So I would be supportive of, again, contingent upon the Planning Commission reaching a consensus to amend the ordinance for a new height limit on accessory buildings, authorizing Dave to not enforce the 18 feet, but it couldn't be any higher than what you guys kind of reach a consensus on. So he can't do anything until you do that. Would anybody be opposed, I guess, to that? And they're gonna be discussing it on Wednesday.
What are you talking height, 18 to what?
Well, they're gonna have to decide what, is it, is 25 feet a good number? It seems like we're getting variance requests in that 20 to 25 range. I will say that,
Cause it's under the general provision, so if you're a bona fide farm, you don't have to follow it, but anything else, even if you're in ag, you still have to follow that.
Okay.
18 foot's the max to the peak.
Oh, I see.
So we're trying to make it, as an example, if you make it 25 feet, then you can have, taller sides, but
Right,
stuff.
okay.
But the lakefront residential will still have their own. This is just to.
Oh,
the problem is, as you know, amending the ordinance takes time,
Right.
This would maybe
Sure.
help some people
Right,
in the interim
yeah.
that are wanting to start projects. So, I did actually, Winfield Township, I talked to their supervisor earlier and just asked what they had, and he said it was like 32 feet. Now that seems a little high to me, but, and then if you were on lakefront, then you had to have it attached to your house or the primary structure. So maybe you might consider something with the lakefront, you're talking about it anyway, but, I guess I kind of wrote out my thoughts here, but, make a motion to, and I have a copy for you,
Okay.
Ginger, so you can get it started. Make a motion to authorize the zoning administrator to to not enforce the current height limit for accessory buildings contingent upon the planning commission reaching a consensus to amend the zoning ordinance for a new height limit for accessory buildings. In no event shall the zoning administrator allow a height exceeding the planning commission's consensus for maximum height, and applications must meet all requirements of the Cato Township zoning ordinance. Is there support for that?
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. Is there further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Take that on them and hopefully get something worked out. Fire district update, Ginger? Anything from the meeting?
Look it over a little here. They got the 2 new tankers or tenders, some people call them, in, that hold the water. They're beautiful. They did a really nice job. And the night of the board meeting, they were actually delivered that night, so we could all see them. It was really nice. They sold the old tanker to someone in Nebraska, and they had to drive it out there. That was quite a,
Right.
that tanker's like usually, they go 10 miles and then back to the barn and then 10 miles someplace else, and they don't even go out on every call, so. But, this month they had 21 runs between Cato, Hinton, Pine, Winfield, and Maple Valley. Mostly wildfires and power lines down. And they do so many other things other than just fires. Like, for instance, this last meeting, they had 30 people present at their training, 30 firefighters present, and Station 1, which is Lakeview, they, practiced, I never can say it, extracting, but there's a, say it in say it. Extraditing, thank you. No, I already think that's not the way to say it. But anyway, they were
Cutting the person.
They were trying to cut somebody out of, no, the Station 1 was actually doing it for grain bins, which I thought was really interesting. Something you just wouldn't think of the fire department doing that, and that would be a huge thing.
We donated,
Practice.
our farm donated that contraption.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we got a grant from the state.
Okay, so I just thought that was really cool, that they were doing that. I didn't go down to watch it or anything, but, and then, are you gonna do the intergovernmental